Hi, it's Tuesday, June 21st, 2016. Monaco 64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I'm going to talk about a couple of news articles I've read today about how George Soros, Lord Rothschild, Jacob Rothschild, and also the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, have come out and warned the British public that leaving the EU would be disastrous economically, and they're like pleading with people to vote to remain in the European Union. Yes, what I have to say about that is, like, let's say George Soros, for example, he made over $1 billion. Him and Jim Rogers at the time, working with him, betting against the British pound in 1992. They bet that the British pound would not be able to stay within the European exchange rate mechanism, or the ERM. That was a precursor to the euro, where they fixed European currencies versus the Deutschmark within a fluctuating band. And at that time, Britain, the UK, was in a bad recession, the economy wasn't doing well, and the pound was overvalued. And that's why Soros put on that bet, because the Bank of England couldn't, keep the pound within that band anymore. So in September 1992, the pound fell out of bed. I remember I'd been here for 3 weeks. I'd moved from Switzerland, where I started working in Switzerland, and then I got a job here at a brokerage house, major brokerage house in London, and I'd been here 3 weeks, and the pound dropped in one day from, or 1 or 2 days, from £2.40. Sorry, 1 pound was £2.40 to around 180 or even 160. So, here I am, coming from Switzerland, and then moving to London, and I've kind of thinking, what the hell, what I'm earning now has become a lot less than what I was earning in Switzerland, and it didn't feel very good. But I didn't have to go and live in Switzerland or pay bills in Switzerland, so it didn't really matter. But what I'm trying to say is that I remember at that time, there were photos in the newspapers and there about John Major, who was the prime minister. He was like mocked, and they say, oh, a grey day, a black day for the UK. But I think that was like the bottom, because the whole of the 90s and also up until 2007, the UK economy did really well. Even Mervyn King, in his book, The End of Alchemy, he talks about how from the mid-90s to 2007, you had the great moderation, when inflation was the rate of inflation was going down, economic growth was robust. So back then, when it happened, ERM, and George Soros made a killing, people are saying, oh, this is gloom and doom. But no, it was fine. So what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to scare people now, saying that if we vote to leave the European Union in the UK, that the skies are going to fall off, and it's going to be the end of the world economically, and that George Osborne said he's going to have to shut the stock exchange. Yeah, well, shut it, George Osborne. They shut it after 9/11 for about a week, the New York Stock Exchange. So what? You just have to wait. Things will start again. We don't have to be in the EU to have an economy that functions properly. So, I don't know. Rothschild family, for example, they started out in the early 1800s, and their main customers were the nobility and governments. So they're not really concerned about the people. They've, the people in general and the public, they've made their money from lending to governments. And how do governments get their money? Through taxation. So I wouldn't put too much, importance on a warning from Lord Rothschild. Uh, you know, I'm sure if the UK leave or stay, he's going to do well either way. His family is well positioned. George Soros, yeah, he benefits from you know, volatility, and in this case, Brexit vote would be good for him. And I think it might seem bad for UK residents at first. Yeah, the trip to Spain or France might cost a bit more, but in the long term, I think it's going to be a lot better. It's going to make it easier for the UK public to service the debt that we have. It might wipe out some of that debt, and it might flush the system that, you know, the powers that be, you know, Bank of England, the Labour government, and even the present government, they haven't allowed the system to correct. You know, with all their policies of quantitative easing and artificial interest rates, government spending, they've stopped the economy from trying to like flush out, you know, the bad parts. And in capitalism, you need that. So if anything, I would say, bring it on, the fear, Mr. Rothschild, Mr. Soros, Mr. Osborne. I don't buy it. You know, if anything, it could be a blessing in disguise if we get market mayhem and the pound drops, you know, 20%. You know, the pound's already dropped to you know, 33% since the 2008 crisis. The pound, don't forget, bought over $2 in 2007 or 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And nowadays, we only buy 147. So we've seen the devaluation already. What's another 15% going to do? Only help, I think. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.